Oi pessoal, tudo bem? As you might have noticed, this is not exactly a lesson, but I wanted to have a little chat with you about some language learning tools. I could spend hours talking about this because this is one of my favorite subjects, but instead I chose 4 resources for tools or apps that can help you learn a new language. They are Memrise, Duolingo, Share Talk, and podcasts in general. So without further ado, let's get started. So the first one, Memrise, is great to improve your vocabulary. So they use flashcards and mnemonics to help you learn languages. And basically it works like this. You will learn, let's say you can set how many words you want to learn at a time. So I've learned 5 words now, and then they ask me to review them in 2 hours. And then if I get it right, it will only ask me to review it again in 10 hours, let's say, something like this. And if I get it wrong, they will ask me to review it earlier. And that's how it works. And you keep getting it right, and then it will take more time for you to review that word. And when you see you learn a lot of words, I've heard some people saying it's kind of boring, but I think it's like a really fun game. I really like using Memrise. I use it like at least 3 times a week. The best part is that it is so fun for me that I don't only learn French or German using this app. Let me see if I can show it here, but I've learned Arabic, a few words, and how to write it. Spanish, what else? Hindi, Italian. It's like, let me see if I can show you. Oops, it's kind of hard to, you see? There's so many different things here. And it's great. I love it. I really do. The bad side is that you don't get to practice speaking. You can practice your listening skills, writing and reading, so you're kind of limited to that. But I still highly recommend that you use this app. The second one is Duolingo. Unlike Memrise, you get to practice even speaking skills because they added this function, like it's been at least 1 year, I guess. When I first used Duolingo, I hated it because they were just in the beginning and they will only accept 1 or 2 different answers, and you know that with language you have a huge variety of possibilities, and they usually wouldn't accept that, but it's really flexible right now. They're getting the feedback really works, because if you type something and you're sure it's right, you can suggest them this as a correct translation. So it works like this. They give you a phrase, you can check word by word what they mean, and then you translate this phrase. At first it's like this, and then they will say the phrase, you got only the audio and you have to write it down what they're saying, or they give you a sentence and you say it, and if you pronounce it correctly you get the check mark. And that's basically like this, and it's nice because you kind of learn more grammar with this app than with Memrise. You're not just remembering things, you see how they work. They have those sections where they explain how it works. Not in every course, of course. I haven't seen the Portuguese one, I'm sorry, but the discussion section is also really helpful, because if you got it wrong, the answer is wrong, you can check the discussion session and people will be talking about it. Sometimes they will give you a link with a good explanation of the meaning of that, or a grammar rule that you didn't understand, or something like this. And one thing that I did, and I think it really worked, is that I started taking notes in the most difficult. I wrote down the most difficult sentences in French, and I have a language partner, and I asked him to help me with my pronunciation of those words, of those sentences, and with the meaning of them as well. It's really good to have this exchange with a native speaker. Which brings me to the third tool, resource, or app, which is Shared Lingo. It's a website. I don't know if you have heard of Shared Talk. I had an account. I used to go there to practice English 4 years ago, and this website was shut down, and then people who use Shared Talk created Shared Lingo, which is basically the same thing. It's a chat room. There are public chat rooms for each language, but you can talk privately with someone. So you go there, you get to practice a little, you meet new people, and then if you feel like you're closer to someone, you can exchange contact and Skype with them, for example. Because some people think it's difficult to find native speakers. So if you go directly to a website with this purpose, it's much easier. I sometimes check the Portuguese room, and every day there is someone talking. There are lots of Brazilians there, that I can assure you. And last but not least, the podcasts. They really helped me when I was learning English, especially. I don't listen to many podcasts in French, and I have never tried in German. Maybe once, I don't remember. But it was incredible when I was learning English, and I had to take the TOEFL test in order to go to study in the United States. The TOEFL test, as you might know, it's an academically oriented test. So the audios and the things that you had to write or speak were academically related. So I found a podcast that would talk about college life and all that, and I got used to the terms, the way people used to say the things, and with time it made me really comfortable with those terms and what to say and what not to say. It kind of made natural, like we learn in our mother tongue. So I really recommend that you find a podcast. At first, you can try a language learning podcast, Learn Portuguese or something like this. And when you feel comfortable, if you're in a more advanced level, you can try listening to podcasts, like not for foreigners, but for Brazilians. And you choose a subject that you're interested in and have fun. If you want to share your experience using any of those tools, if you want to recommend something, please let me know in the comment section, and I hope to be back soon with a new lesson. Bye bye.